Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, citizens and haulers. Welcome to another beautiful day. Today is February 27th, and it is 9:45 a.m. on the west coast of the United States. And I was going to edit my video this morning about grinding Kovalex faction, at least the first part of it. And then as I opened up Premiere Pro, I noticed that Star Citizen released their Inside Star Citizen video. And so I wanted to go over that. I heard it was pretty good already. Um, my 3-year-old is being a little ornery this morning. So if you hear her yelling in the background, please excuse my apologies. She doesn't care that I'm recording videos. But let's get into this. Inside Star Citizen. And I want to say they labeled it Strategic Reserves. It's the name of the video. So let's check it out.
Are you happy with yourself?
Over the moon. Ecstatic with myself.
Their armor was the same with a color difference. There was a mission where we told you to go kill slicer supplies that was the exact same when we told you to go kill frontier fighter supplies.
The data pads I placed around Stanton as well, telling you, giving you hints that maybe something was going on. I think this is a great kind of PSA to read your contracts from now on. Maybe I hid them a little too well. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. This is funny because there were so many people that were upset and mad that they chose the Freedom Fighters for the different ship paints. I believe there was a camel paint and another one that was purple or something. And then they got to the end and somebody revealed that the Freedom Fighters were determined to be a terrorist group. And Reddit was livid because so many people picked Freedom Fighters. Me personally, I picked Headhunters, but that was for the helmet that you can get at their locations there.
By now, you will have realized that the Frontier Fighters weren't exactly who they said they were. Or, in other cases, they were exactly who they said they were.
Another point that Amelia makes is she says she plays data pads all over the verse with hints. Y'all got to read the data pads that you find because I read quite a few of them and the hints were there.
Frontier fighters were specifically designed to show players that we can mess with their morals via this narrative storytelling.
Frontier Fighters were the ones who staged the attack on Stanton, posing as slicers to cause an uproar about Pyro, to stage a war on Pyro, to get rid of the criminal gangs that are there.
It was a band of mercenaries led by a woman called Amelia who wanted to start an attack in Stanton to drum up hate for Pyro so that she could get the backing of regular people to go and attack Pyro.
But that also included civilians, and that also included gangs who had no interest in threatening Stanton at all.
That's the helmet right here, this one. You can get this helmet and some of this armor at the Headhunter outpost.
So this was a false flag operation?
Yes, this was a false flag operation.
And you fell for it.
Damn right they did.
They fell for it.
They fell
but
for it.
you named it Maniac after yourself.
I didn't do that. Haddock did that.
So our next
Cargo haulers, this is our section right here. Whether you're a solo player or a group player, Supply or Die is for you, and this is something I am looking forward to.
next chapter in March is called Supply or Die. This is split into 3 parts of the event. This is where the CFP and the Headhunters are coming off half the heels of the invasion of the Frontier Fighters, and they're trying to resupply and rebuild to continue the efforts of attacking the Frontier Fighters. This event is essentially a one-shot. You have to play it in March, and when the next patch drops after that, you won't be able to play it again or earn the rewards. With this narrative arc that we're doing for the rest of this year, we're really trying to build these moments in our history where you as the player will come in and experience it, and then if you was here for it, great. But if you wasn't, you've missed out.
For this event, there are 6 new locations that we built, 1 on each of the major planets in Pyro. These locations are discoverable by quantum marker, and at these locations you will find these outlaw depots.
Okay, so for those of you who have done contested zones in Pyro or executive hangars, you'll know that there are some locations that you can't necessarily fast travel to, or excuse me, select in the mobiGlas map. So the supervisor stations, you can't quantum to specifically, like it won't let you select it and mark it. I don't know if that was designed intentionally, but if you find the quantum marker specifically while you're looking around with your quantum drive open, you can do it that way. So it's a similar process here. I don't know what planets these depots are on. I imagine they're going to be on Bloom, Pyro 5, Terminus, and what's another one? It's probably going to be another big planet that is very common for selling commodities.
The difference between an outpost and a depot is that an outpost is generally a lot larger in size. There's various things to do at an outpost. It's like a little community that kind of is in one way or another self-sufficient. A depot is really just an offshoot storage location. So in that sense, it doesn't have all the amenities for a local population or for the player as well. It's more of like an offshoot location in that sense.
The depots see the return of the scavengers, the circus, essentially. It was introduced with the Ghost Arenas.
So this is not a faction we've seen much about, but it's a faction that we can identify by green text and spray paints.
So he says the Ghost Arenas, but I think what he meant to say was the contested zones. The Ghost Arena is only available at Ruin Station, but to that point, the Ghost Arena has a vault inside of it, and the vault has a majority of commodities. But you can, I say commodities, but like ship components, ship weapons, modified weapons that are stronger, like Tweaker, P4, so on and so forth. You can also find these at the other two stations, but they're not going to be as common.
I've tagged it, and they'll be saying, you can get big money here, and go here, and go here. This is where you buy it. Look out here, take cover here. The location is one that they've taken over, and they've added their unique twist to.
The outlaw depots, I think, are really cool from a player perspective through the way that it's a location that is really built for the interaction. It provides a lot of cover. It's located in a more convenient, accessible way. It has very clear, distinct sections. So that helps hopefully as well for the players to kind of call out where the different people are coming from or where they are located. So it's a high risk, high reward location that is really built for PvP. There is an initial population at the location, so if you're the first there to show up, you might be a little bit careful. If you're gonna land in the middle, might be a little bit hot, but that's the right challenge that we're trying to provide for you guys.
Go back to that for a second.
We're trying to provide for you guys.
Here we go. Okay, so you can see how they mentioned it. So you have your different factions that you can work for. So Headhunters, Citizens for Prosperity, and I imagine Freedom Fighters will be on here too. Maybe not, since the story is pushing towards fighting the Freedom Fighters now. But as they said, you have your small missions, which is for solo players, medium for 5 to 10 players, and then your large for 10 plus. And those large payouts, if you have 10 players and you're successfully buying cargo, I mean, that's 2.4 million per person. And if you get a site to yourself and you're having no issues with bugs or anything, I mean, this is a 30-minute operation. Go get your stuff loaded up in a C2 and take it back to whatever station you're going to. This one says data treen to Ruin Station. So yeah, you go pick up your data treen at Ruins. You go pick up your data treen, take it to Ruin Station, easy 5 mil.
The first missions requires you to get a commodity called Death Treen, and there's a mission for CFP and Headhunters. This commodity requires you to go to these depots.
Now, he's bringing up Datatrine as the commodity that you have to get for supplier die. In the current version of the PTU, the 4.0.2 PTU, a lot of the solo missions do not require Datatrine. There was somebody else's video going over supplier die, and it required them to get pressurized ice and copper.
Where you have to invest your own money to get this death.
I'll hop into the PTU and try to get you guys a clip of all those missions that are available now.
Datatrine is a rare plant that they can refine, so the CFP can use it for medical purposes, and the headhunters can use it for more fun purposes.
Elliot came over to the economy area and said, hey, I've got some new missions we're building, and they're a little bit different from some we've done before. So we worked together to come up with a fairly new reward structure specifically for these new missions.
The idea as well is that if
I love that they're using the Caterpillar for this.
and you've got your reward,
It's one of my favorite ships. Drake is one of my favorite companies.
in the sandbox world and get quite a big profit margin. But again, your risk is you have to put up your own money, put in your own time, and risk your own life. For the mining mission, again, both factions will require you to get 2 commodities. So they require you to get ice, which can be found on the extremities of the Pyro solar system, so as far out from the sun as you can where it gets colder, or tin
Oh, this is what I was talking about.
to the sun, that can be stolen, bought, or mined and refined yourself. However you wish to get these, they don't care, they just want the commodity. And then you'll have a destination where you're asked to drop them off. And last is the salvage mission. The salvage mission is asking for RMC, so that's hull scraping, or construction materials, so that's the actual structural salvage part where you have to fracture the ship. And again, both factions are asking for it and they both have their own drop-off points. How you get the salvage is, again, up to you. You can kill ships and harvest their corpse. You could accept the salvage missions and use those ships, or you could just fly about and attempt to find the salvage panels. The event
Okay, so they went over this.
PvP and PvE, it takes place in Pyro, so you've always got to have your wits about you. The Datatrine one that takes place at the outposts will have more of a PvP element because it's going to have more reward for people who are PvPing. The mining and salvage one are introduced for more industrial players, more PvE. There's not much you really need to do here PvP wise, but again, you're in Pyro, keep your wits about you because you never know who's going to turn up.
The thing that's unusual about these missions is that they're designed to encourage group play. There's nothing stopping you doing it solo. You can absolutely do it solo, although obviously in Pyro you have to take appropriate precautions if you're playing solo. But each of these missions, if you can get together a group of friends to help out, you will probably find that it will be more successful.
Did you unfix that terrible fix that you did last patch?
The initial design of EVR has been fairly successful, but it definitely has areas it needs to be improved with, and one
Is he talking about mission sharing?
is enabling group play instead of suppressing group play. And the design intention is to move away from reward splitting. So with that in mind, we're taking steps towards that, and these missions and the way that the rewards are structured for these missions is a good indication of that design intention.
So with all this, the mission reward system is changing, right?
The rewards that you will get will scale with the size of the group that we expect for each mission. So the small missions are designed for solo players, the medium missions are designed for around 4 to 5 to 6 players, and the large missions are designed for 10 and above players. And in subsequent patches, the rewards will scale dynamically to the group that you have. And depending on the mission type that you're doing, whether it's the salvage or the mining or the Datatrine, your rewards will scale accordingly. Bear in mind that for the Datatrine missions, you have to put up the money to buy the commodity, and you will be rewarded enough to compensate you for what you've bought and a little bit extra. The other thing to bear in mind is that all of these missions have a secondary reward mechanic, which is that you are working to get tickets so that you can get the unique rewards, which you can only get during this mission, during this month, and then they will never be offered again.
It's like the redemption at Chuck E. Cheese.
I don't understand the reference, but okay.
I'm an American lost in Britain.
Why does this matter? With our plans for this whole year of more of a content-driven releases and more of a narrative storyline, as Dave previously talked about with the A and B stories, the idea is that these missions will tie into that. The side that you choose to work with will have a lasting impact. The choices you make will define the universe that you live in. And the really cool thing about Supply or Die is because of the 3 different mission types we offer you, you can get all of the
Look at the
rewards
ship paints. I love them.
firing a shot. And that's really exciting.
That is exciting. That gives us haulers an opportunity.
And as one chapter of the continuing fight for Pyro closes, another begins with Alpha 402 Supply or Die. But if you didn't get a chance to finish the February missions, we've extended them through to the end of March. So there's still time to choose your allegiances and secure the future that Pyro deserves. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you. And we'll see you all here next week on Star Citizen Live.
Well, that's good. I'm curious.
About these
They're
missions.
they're talking about the missions and how they want them to be. In the previous Star Citizen Live, they were mentioning how they wanted mission rewards to be 100%. 100% credits and reputation shared with everybody that has the mission. So it's interesting to hear now that they want to do a scaling system, and I'm curious how that scaling system will work, whether it's one of those things where in the future, if you have like the data tree mission, for example, maybe they want a minimum amount, and then if you bring more, the reward will scale up from there. If you have more players in your group, the reward scales and the minimum amount goes up, so on and so forth. Like, I'm curious how they're going to scale this and how they're going to divvy up rewards after the fact. But I'm excited for 4.0.2. You guys let me know what you think in the comments about this patch and what you're excited for most. Me personally, I haven't done a lot of salvaging since 4.0 came out, and I'm looking forward to getting into salvaging and mining and hauling all those nice commodities around the verse. Anyways, if you like the video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, and we will see you haulers next time.